Okay, so I'm gonna start. Ooh, it's not a good start, is it? I'm gonna start reading the introduction of my book, Delivering the Impossible. Um, if I make strange hand gestures or clap, it's because I think there's an edit that needs to be made. This is the second time I've been through this, so I'm hoping that won't be the case, but we'll see. I'm going to take a big slurp of coffee first because clearly I've got some kind of amphibian in my throat. Okay, introduction. Many projects appear impossible. Most of them aren't. There are almost always things you can do to make them run more smoothly, deliver more value to their owners and users, and make the people who work on them happier and more effective. You just need to look at them in the right way. This book offers some different ways to do just that. The title of this book is Delivering the Impossible, but of course you or anyone can only deliver possible things. So why did you pick up this book that has a contradiction right there on the front cover? Perhaps this sounds familiar. You're working on a project. You're the project manager and you feel stuck. It seems like the project you've been asked to deliver is impossible. You're not quite sure how this happened, but at some point, somebody promised somebody that the project would be finished by a certain date, probably Christmas. Maybe you have lots of evidence, or maybe it's just instinct, but somehow you know that your team can't deliver it. Maybe it's worse than that. Maybe you still don't even know what needs to be delivered. People are telling you that the project has to be finished by a certain date, but when you or your team try to get a definitive answer as to what finished means, you don't get the information you need. If you're that project manager, then this book is for you. How do you deliver a project that seems impossible? There is a good answer, which I explore in depth in this book. It's that you look at it from different angles. You find a way of seeing, or multiple ways of seeing, that make it much more possible. I'm going to present several different ways of looking at projects and show how switching between them can give projects that appear impossible a substantial chance of succeeding. The software pioneer Alan Kay, inventor of object-oriented programming and the overlapping Windows UI, said, "Point of view is worth 80 IQ points." My take on this statement is that if you can just figure out the right way, or even a good way, or a better way to look at a problem, solving it becomes easier. An additional 80 IQ points would make pretty much anyone a genius. And that's the crux of my message to you. I'm going to show you different ways of looking at the problem of project management that can make us. I'm going to show you different ways of looking at the problem of project management that can make us much smarter. Right. The idea is that if we can just find the right perspective, we can be much cleverer and much more effective in what we do. But of course, there's also a downside to Alan Kay's nugget of wisdom. Looking at something in the wrong way could take away 80 IQ points. Some ways of looking at things can make us all stupid, and some of these unhelpful ways of looking at a project are extremely common. So I'll talk about these as well, and I'll try to explain why looking at things in certain ways is so unhelpful and show some ways of escaping their grip. Edit. You might think, okay, I get it. Seeing things in a different way is useful, but my project has some specific problems. I just want to fix them. I don't have time to kick everything up in the air and philosophize. Maybe we could do this another time. Part of my message throughout this book is that if you want to fix your project's immediate problems, now is absolutely the time. Well, for most projects, now is much later than would have been ideal, but now is better than never. We've needed better ways of thinking about software projects since the 1950s. Humans have been managing the writing of software for at least 75 years, and we're still not very good at it. And being good at writing software has never been a more important competitive advantage. Being good at developing software that customers want, that is genuinely valuable to them when they need it, has never been more needed. Being good at software development has become a way of, quite literally, conquering the world. Am I overstating things? I don't think so. Mark Andreessen wrote the first widely used web browser, Mosaic. Now he runs a hugely influential venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. As he declared more than 10 years ago, software is eating everything. And since he wrote that article, software has increased its appetite. It's taken huge bites out of relationships and dating, politics, social life, music, and television. Now, with the arrival of AI, it looks like it's also taking a massive bite out of lots of other completely different kinds of work. That includes the writing of software, although this long predicted trend has yet to truly materialize. Some companies are good at developing software, like Amazon, Facebook, and Google, and some of those companies are now more powerful than governments. But this is just one side of the coin. A lot of companies and government organizations are terrible at writing software. The software is paid for, developed, and is either never used or never performs as well as promised, or even makes things worse. If these organizations could get better at delivering software, they might be just as successful and powerful as the ones that are at it. The struggle to deliver good software in a timely manner is real, and it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. Why me? Let's say that you believe me. Let's say you agree that now is a good time to get very good at software development. Why should you listen to me in particular? Well, there are some obvious boring reasons. I've been working in the software development industry since 1994. I started out as a developer writing software for oil companies, the military, and then a newfangled thing called the internet. Then I worked as a researcher, first for Xerox and then for Cambridge University. You should listen to me because I know how to deliver software projects. I've been doing it now for more than 10 years. Mostly I've been successful. Some of these projects were successful and made millions of pounds for their owners. Some of them weren't about money at all. They were literally about making the world a better place. They helped their users do scientific research, fight COVID-19 and cure cancer, or they helped the course of justice run more smoothly. I really believe that some of those projects wouldn't have done as well if I hadn't been involved. And that's about as much as you can ever say if you're a project manager. But there's a slightly less boring, less obvious reason. Most people who claim to be experts and talk about or write about project management will try to give you the impression that it's a rational endeavor. They will suggest that if you can only supply the steps outlined, they will suggest that if you can simply follow the steps outlined in their methodology, your project will be guaranteed to succeed. I am under no such illusion. I know, and I'm going to show you with multiple examples, that project management is an irrational and emotional business. As we'll see, that irrationality and emotionality, far from being accidental and only cropping up when projects are managed badly, is built into the way projects happen. There will be substantial stretches of time in any project where, if you were involved with its management, things will be tense and you'll feel bad. What I try to explain in this book is something that I haven't seen explained in many other places. Certainly, I haven't seen these ideas collected in one place. I want to explain why you're feeling bad, why it's okay to feel bad, and what you can do best to deal with these negative feelings. And I want to show you that the way to do this is by looking at project management from a different angle. Why you? I think there are three groups of people who should read this book. The first group is the most obvious. Are you directly involved with the development of software, with the project management behind the development of software? Then you should read this book. But there's also a second group. Software is eating everything, as we've just established. Do you work in a business that's getting eaten by software? Do you work for a company that needs to be able to deliver software in order to stay relevant and competitive? If you do, you should also probably be interested in what makes ways of looking at project management either smart or dumb. You should be interested in getting software developed and delivered and you should also be interested in this book. Then finally, there's a third group of people, and that's everybody else. Okay, maybe not everybody else, but remember, software is eating a lot of things. So it's perfectly possible that whatever you do in your life, software is sniffing around and thinking about taking a nibble. And beyond software's enormous appetite, there are other reasons that anyone who's involved in any kind of creative project that needs management might be interested in this book. Edit. For example, in the first chapter, I talk about the inherent tension between the idea of a project and the reality of going about delivering it. I talk about how this tension means that struggling to deliver a project isn't just a matter of luck. It isn't even a matter of skill. It's a built-in feature of the way projects get set up. Understanding this means that you can not only be a bit easier on yourself, you can give yourself and your team the best chance of success. Okay, nice and short one. Thanks for anybody who's watching. Another chapter tomorrow.